I always love a new challenge. And so it was some of my ninja friends that had gotten me into doing some stunt work, which was really, really cool. And then I also was able to do Stone Cold's Broken Skull challenge, which was really, really fun. Got and I loved meeting him, obviously, before this was before I was in WWE, so, like, that was really cool. And then when WWE came to me, I had watched wrestling growing up, but I had never, like, watched it and thought to myself, like, "I can do this." You know, like, I'm so tiny, like, all the things in your mind that hold you back, so when they came to me, I was like, "You want me in the ring? What do you mean?" Like, this was, like, 8 years ago. Well, actually, no, this was, like, 10 years ago, I would say. And, because when they first came to me, I wasn't able to go. I was still under contract with American Ninja Warrior. WWE wanted me to do Tough Enough, which is another reality show, so I wasn't able to, like, do Ninja, which was a reality show, and Tough Enough. So I had said I can't do it. They came back the next year, and then finally after that, they were like, "Well, you don't have to do Tough Enough. You can come to the Performance Center and see it for yourself, if you're not able to do the reality part of it." And so that's what really brought me into it. I needed to feel like I was ready to leave American Ninja Warrior. I did it for 5 years, and it was such a huge part of my life that I kinda needed to go on my own terms. And so when I felt like I was ready to kinda step away to something new, that's when I went to the Performance Center. They had said they were doing their own, like, women's evolution. They wanted me to see the Mae Young Classic, which was the all-women's tournament, so that was really, really cool. And then, the next year, I was in the Mae Young Classic, and it was just, like, craziness.
I would imagine when you were getting into WWE, it's a brave new world. You're like, what the heck is going on? But was there anybody that you trained with or got to know that kind of helped you along the way? Somebody that you kind of looked up to and said, all right, you know what? They're setting the precedent for me to succeed.
Yeah, it's so interesting because, me coming in, not having any wrestling background before, and like I said, I had watched wrestling growing up. Me and my sister, she's 2 years older than me, Jess, like, we loved watching. We'd watch it in our basement and, like, wrestle around, like, we loved it. And then, when I went on my gymnastics journey on American Ninja Warrior, I wasn't as involved. I didn't know who was there or what was really happening. I had my favorites growing up, but I was just on a different path. So when I got to the Performance Center, I've said this before, right now, if you go to the Performance Center, there are tons and tons of athletes that came from a different sport, that came in together, that, they have their group, and now it's very normal to be at the Performance Center and not really know anything about wrestling, whereas when I came into the Performance Center almost 8 years ago now, it wasn't very normal. There were a few, and there are a lot of superstars now that started at NXT like I did, and they were definitely big inspirations to me, like Bianca or something like that, where they came in as an athlete and they were built up at the Performance Center. So that was nice to see. But it was very, it was very, very difficult coming in. My class that I started with, they had been wrestling for, like, over 10 years each. You know what I mean? Like, I came in with Candice LeRae and War Raiders and Spud and people that, like, had been wrestling forever, and I was very much like, "Okay, like, what am I gonna do here?" Like, "Okay, I'm just, like, learning the roles and learning all of these things." So, it was definitely really tough, but I will say, having Candice in my class really, really helped me. Obviously, she wasn't in my class for long because, like, we did the beginner and then people got moved and she was so experienced, but coming in with, like, over a decade of experience, she was so good to me, and she definitely helped me feel really comfortable even when she didn't have to. You know what I mean? Like, she had been wrestling for decades to get to this moment, to be there, and then, like, here I come. She didn't know who I was, she didn't know why I was there, and she was very, very good to me. So she's definitely someone that I've always looked up to. She's a hard worker. She worked very hard to get there. She continued to work hard once she was there, and she was always very, very kind to me. So she's definitely someone that, like, has a special place to me.
That's great. Shout out to Candice LeRae. And yeah, I don't think a lot of the younger fans may realize, right? She's obviously had a number of women's wrestling matches, but prior to going to WWE, I think she had more matches with men. So she really paid her dues on the indies before getting there. So, hey, great to learn from a veteran like her, right? I'm sure she passed along a lot of knowledge and helped you along the way.
And I have only seen, like, slight things, like, obviously very viral ones of her wrestling the guys and stuff like that, but I just can't imagine, like, just from seeing matches or little stories, like, that's only a small clip of what she went through and how much she fought through to get there, and yeah, so she's a huge inspiration to me.